Yeah, we have a very important topic to look out to, and this topic is something we do frequently on site. So we actually want to know concrete pumps for concreting, why we tend to use concrete pumps in doing our construction, and the importance of concrete pump during concreting. So concrete pumps are advanced machines used to transfer concrete from the mixing track, to the desired location through a piping system. So it's an advanced machine which it's actually used to transfer concrete, from where you mixed the concrete, which is your mixing track. So you tend to mix your concrete first, then you now use that machine to transport and transfer your concrete to where you want the concrete to be poured using a system called pumping system. So this system is very very useful in construction because areas where you couldn't have reached, or areas where you need to start setting up scaffolds and start stressing people using labor, and it will be dangerous for such labor, especially when you're working from height. So with your concrete pump, it makes it very easier and faster. So they ensure faster, safer, and more efficient concrete placement, especially in high rise structure, large projects, and hard to reach areas. So they actually make the construction procedure faster, right, and safer, and are more efficient. You understand? They help you do your placement more efficiently, in especially when you are now working in high rise structures and large projects. Maybe you need to cover a large surface area, that you now start using wheelbarrow to transport mixed concrete from the mixing point to the area where you want to pour, whereas you can just use your concrete pumping system to just after your mixing, to just transport it there, it pour at once and you do your concreting at once. So it saves time actually, because the time of mixing, the time of loading the concrete, and the time of pouring, then coming back to pick another one with either wheelbarrow or bucket. You understand? But with your mixing pump, that is your pumping system, it actually makes the whole construction procedure very very easy. You just mix, then you pour, and that's all, right? The only thing that can delay you is maybe you want to actually set out or correct some things on the formwork. But aside that, you just mix and you pour. So it's very, very easy and efficient. We'll be looking at the key reasons why concrete pump is used in construction. So the first point is faster concreting. Just as we've said earlier, significantly reduces construction time by pumping concrete quickly and continuously. So it actually helps to reduce the construction time. Then it also makes the whole system to be faster. As you're just mixing, you are pumping, you are mixing, you are pumping, right? So it is very very important because it significantly reduces construction time. So the next point you're looking at is high efficiency. Ensures uniform concrete flow and placement with minimal manual labor. So it actually helps to reduce minimal manual labor, right? Because as it also ensures uniform concrete flow. As you mix concrete and you are able to get the workability and the consistency of that concrete. So it's still that same consistency you are going to pour into your formwork, right? But if you are mixing with labor and all those things, there is delay of time wastage and all those things. So it actually tend to reduce the efficiency, even the uniformity of the concrete, right? But if you are using your concrete pump, it actually helps, to increase the uniformity of the concrete, because as you are mixing, you are pouring. There's nothing like settlement of, the concrete, right? So we'll take a look at another point, which is improved safety. So it actually reduces the need for workers to move concrete manually at height. So it actually helps to reduce, human involvement in the whole procedure, right? So the only point that you need human now is maybe the operation of the pump, the guiding of, the concrete pump, so that it will pour in the right place. Then maybe the mixing, you need to pour material into the mixing machine, which tends to help to mix the concrete. So it actually reduces, the need for more workers. You understand? Whereby you maybe in the normal concrete, you need maybe 50 workers. You understand? You need plenty people that will help you to mix, right? And plenty people that will be helping you to pour in to the your formwork. Then plenty people that will be helping you to spread and all those things. So it has actually cut down the construction time, and also the need for workers, more workers. So what you just do is just to get a sufficient worker that can operate the machine, sufficient workers that can actually do the mixing. So as you are mixing, you are pouring into the machine, and it is, transferring it into your formwork, and all these things works so smoothly. Yeah, the next point we are looking out to is accurate placement. Accurate placement is very, very, very important in construction. So it's not how you mix. You don't just mix anyhow and place your concrete anyhow and work and go. That is not how it is done. You have to actually understand what you are doing, even from the point of mixing the concrete, right? Then when it comes to placement of the concrete, if it is in your slab, you start casting from your beam, because it's your beam that actually holds the weight, the load of the slab, because the load of the slab is transferred into the beam. So you start your construction from the beam area. You understand? You're concreting from the beam area, then you start coming into the slab area. So you have to actually make the right and accurate placement of your concrete. So allows precision concrete delivery to each location, even in difficult access area. So there are some areas that are difficult, that even you now need to start using manual labor to, compact such area and all those things. But if you are using your concrete pumps, the water cement ratio of the concrete is adequate. So the concrete on its own will be slurry, because the concrete has to be slurry before it's even will be able to move within the pump. Right? So you making use of concrete pump has actually designed your concrete to be slurry. Right? So your slurry concrete will definitely enter into all the areas that needs to be done. So it helps you to place your concrete adequately, right? The next point we are looking at to is effective. That is cost efficiency. So lowers overall project cost by improving productivity and minimizing waste. So it actually helps to increase, the productivity, because you can cover the whole, area. You understand, depending on how large the area is, or if you need to engage either one or two or three or four pumps, depending on the work you are constructing, the job you are doing. So it actually helps to lower the overall project cost, and also improving the productivity, and also helps to minimize waste, because if you have 20 labor helping you to carry the mixed concrete on wheelbarrow to the concreting area. You understand? Little by little, you'll be having little drop of concrete, little drop of concrete, and that is wastage. But your concrete pump helps to pump the concrete directly into the formwork, which actually helps to reduce wastage. So we'll be looking at area of use and application. You understand? Areas of application of these concrete pumps. So concrete pumps is used in high-rise building construction. So when you're building a high-rise building construction, you make use of your concrete pumps. Then bridges and flyover. So you also tend to make use of your concrete pumps for building bridges and flyovers. Then we have tunnels and underground structure. Then we have industrial and commercial buildings. Then we have residential projects. For residential projects, maybe for your bungalow, you tend to make use of labor, right? But when it comes to building maybe 3-story building, 4-story building, terraces, that you have large area that you can cast simultaneously, right? Then you can actually make use of your concrete and pumps. Then dams and large infrastructural works, then hard to reach and congested area. So you can actually make use of your concrete pump in areas that are hard to reach and areas that are congested. So we'll be taking a look at the typical structure of a concrete pump. So you can see the whole setup, how it looks like. We have the boom, which is the hydraulic arm that distribute concrete to the required location. So you can see the boom there. Then we have the hydraulic cylinder. Then we have delivery pipe. We have the hopper. Then we have the S cylinder. Then we have the pumping unit. The pumping unit, right? Then we now have the outriders. So these are just all the components of a concrete pump. So if you really want to see a concrete pump, you can go to any of the construction sites and you see how it is being applied on a real-time basis, right?